First the cataclysm, now this. There's too much going on right now. I'm well aware, which is why my door is open to colleagues and strangers alike. I'm sorry if I seem a bit flustered. Things have been chaotic since the cataclysm, and now word of missing supplies. But that doesn't excuse my rudeness. Let me at least introduce myself. My name is Kezrani Dulkev. I work as an executor for House Dulkev. Members of House Dulkev who handle trade in and out of Dazra. We are part of the Ministry of Commerce, but our building was lost in the cataclysm. I'm not someone in power, if that's what you think. Still, my work is important and allows me to meet all manner of people. Which is what I assume brings you to me. Do you need assistance? Funny you should say that. It's about the supply shortage. There may be a reason for it beyond the cataclysm itself. A week ago, my cousin Ukaru came to my office concerned about a series of lost shipments. He was certain someone was using the tragedy as cover to steal supplies and route them to our enemies. Yes, but given the seriousness of the accusation, the proof must be irrefutable. So I told my cousin to return with more evidence. And when I didn't hear back, I assumed that was the end of it. But this morning, I received a slate from a courier. It was from Ukaru. It was worrying, to say the least. It felt like Ukaru was trying to warn me. The contents were cryptic. He mentions a possible conspiracy and being followed and, well, I hate to say it, but I'm starting to panic. He hasn't shown up to work in days, and the timing of all this feels suspicious.
A sudden absence would give credence to the idea he was followed.
Agreed. Ukaru was extremely punctual. An absence like this is very unlike him. But if he is in danger, I don't know if it's safe for me to investigate. I need someone disconnected from the noble houses. Ukaru's workstation is likely your best bet. He's been working in the rehabilitation unit on the 3rd floor of the Halls of Healing. If you run into any issues with access, hand this slate to my fellow executors. Once you locate him, report back to me. I've got a meeting at House Kadik later, but I shouldn't be hard to track down. Hopefully you'll find my cousin alive and safe.
I am trying to keep strong, but...
I'm sorry, but this wing of the hospital is under investigation. You'll have to leave. Even with the cataclysm, this is highly irregular. But not surprising. Kezrani is obsessed with transparency and often seeks independent help. I find this tendency unwise.
And by unwise, he means a complete disregard for operational security, rules, and regulations.
Possibly. And yet, despite what I said, and unsaid, she persists in doing so. So, we must come to a compromise.
A good compromise leaves everyone unhappy. This one was particularly miserable.
I will give you the keycard to Ukaru's computer. You will be able to access documents and correspondence for the past month. Any further access will require admin privileges, which I am not willing to grant. You do have a point. Normally, I am loath to bend the rules, But time is at a premium right now. You'll be granted temporary admin privileges to Okaru's computer. That should be enough for you to do your investigation. Several. The halls of healing are extremely busy. We can't keep track of every individual that passes through. In particular, the patients. We had to usher one out of here just now, who claimed to have a crippling headache.
Given the patient himself was a headache, it's likely genetic.
The admin privileges I've granted you will allow you to view the access logs, however, that track the last users to sign in. It is highly unusual for anyone to display such disobedience, especially now. Such actions are tantamount to heresy. Loss of employment is the most likely outcome.
A beheading isn't off the table.
It would be done humanely, of course. Ukaru hasn't logged into his station for some time. I've had to process several write-ups documenting his absence.
Dereliction of duty, failure to serve, fireable offenses all around.
We've also had to shift resources and people to make up for his absence. Suffice to say, it has made navigating this current situation more difficult. Unfortunately, rather than use the proper channels, he chose to start his own investigation.
A very unfortunate choice.
I will not pretend to know the particulars of this case. I will say this. We are House Dual Kef. We have a reputation. We are professional. We are exacting.
We don't make mistakes.
Precisely. Now, to get back to these spreadsheets.
Proceed.
This unit has been repurposed from a medical bot to aid in smuggling and trade.
Whoever laid claim to this place seems to be long gone. I never had the patience for computer systems. this is all properly organized, someone may notice if things go missing.
I found the shipment! Along with, countless others. This is bad. Real bad. But it begs the question, who are these for? And who's helping them? Wait, what was that?
They hope to gain by keeping us in the dark. Winning takes all this to phrase, is it not?
Who else knows? No one! My superiors don't even believe there's missing shipments! And why is that? I don't know! They were all signed off by someone higher up!
If they know that much, it's only a matter of time before they find out about my boss.
And what of it? If you are using this as a pretense to end our agreement,
my boss has no intention of doing that.
We will need assurances in person. We will send a message through an encrypted slate. The coordinates to Gendar's rest will be there.
I'll let them know. And what of this one? She's seen my face.
He's given us everything we need. Turn him to dust.
If you feel you're in danger, I can provide a security detail. My people are nothing if not capable.
Thank you, Envoy. I'll consider it. Was there anything else?
Yes, there was one more thing. Regarding the missing supplies, I was wondering if I could be of any assistance. Our agents mostly work in the settled systems, but I have contacts in Dazra as well. I can set up a meeting at the Halls of Obedience.
I appreciate the support. My mind has been frazzled as of late.
It's understandable. The accident has affected all of us.
You're right, and your concern is welcome.
How can I be of assistance? If you have business with House Kadik, speak to Razma. Best of luck.
I apologize. The Envoy and I were just discussing matters of state.
In particular, I offered to help find the missing supplies. I have my people looking into the matter as well.
Thank you for your diligence, Envoy. On that note, I hate to take up any more of your time than I already have. And I'm sure you're busy with issues regarding your own house. If you don't mind, I'd like a moment with the Harbinger alone.
This is a personal matter. I am sure the Envoy will respect our privacy.
Indeed. And your timing is apt. The cortege has arrived at the spaceport, and I don't like to leave the crew waiting.
Thank you, Envoy.
Executor.
I appreciate your discretion. The Envoy is a trusted figure, but you can never be too careful in situations like this.
In my line of work, this holds especially true. The more people know, the more everyone knows.
Exactly. We keep the circle of trust small until we know who to let in. And while having the conversation here isn't entirely secure, we're pressed for time, so it'll have to do. So, now that we're alone, tell me, what have you uncovered? I was afraid of that. If only I had preached more caution. But after the accident, things were dire. Our resources were blocked. We needed those supplies, and... Thank you. If the Zealots are responsible, they must be punished. But one question remains. How would they gain access to the shipments in the first place?
The answer is both obvious and impossible to believe. Who would betray House Varun when so many are suffering?
That is a part I am having trouble with myself. But perhaps our loyalty to House Varun blinds us. This slate you found, it mentions a contact. Someone on the inside. This person would have to be well versed in our operational pipeline. They would have to know where to route the shipments and how to clean the books. It seems unfathomable. But perhaps Ukaru was right. A member of the noble houses has betrayed us. It's very likely that is the case. As for which house, well, I'm not sure at this point. House Vithal would have the authority to put supplies on hold and confiscate them. House Kadik would have the intel and spies. And the supplies were ordered by my people at House Dulkev. The slate you brought to me does have some information. It mentions a meeting that will take place at Jandar's Rest. But I don't know where that is. We're going to need to enlist some help. I'd like you to speak with Tivina Vithal at the Keep. If that slate has coordinates, she may have the means to decrypt it. They are fiercely loyal to House Varun and are in charge of rooting out zealotry in our ranks. Only one thing troubles me, though. If a shipment were put on hold and confiscated, it would likely go to them first. Excellent. As for me, I must mourn my cousin's passing. I understand there's a shrine upstairs. When you return, meet me at the Halls of Obedience, where we first met. By Jinan's grace, we'll find out who the supply thief is and bring them to justice. Serpent guide you, and be safe.
Harbinger! I was wondering when you'd grace my office with your presence. Oh, you're a flatterer. Well, that will get you everywhere with me. In fact, I think you and I are going to be fast friends. But I realize that's not why you're here, hmm? Shall we get down to business? I agree, but we've been overruled, sadly. People want this case solved, and so we have to oblige. I take it this is about the missing supplies. I may have some intel on my computer that could help you with your case. Well, look at that. The Great Serpent favors us both. It just so happens that one of my agents recently recovered a Zealot cipher key and dropped it off this morning. Here, a copy of the key for your records. Well, as you can see, the encryption they're using is mind-numbingly simple. Take the slate number and multiply the even numbers by 2. Your slate's numbered 2032, which means the key is... Neither are the Zealots, based on how simple their encryption is. I'll just type in the correct code and... voila! Let's see what you've won. Looks like an all-expenses-paid journey to Jandar's Rest. Lucky you. Okay, scanning the coordinates, these point further north, hidden in Badlands. Clever, clever. Sure, whatever. Looks like you've won a trip to Jandar's Rest. Scan. But that aside, let's get to the guts of the issue, hmm? After reading through the evidence, where do you think the supply thief is from? That's highly unlikely, given how intimate the thief's knowledge is of our pipeline. It's not only suspicious, it's dirty too. No, I think it's someone on the inside. Well, whoever the thief is. I think it's all but guaranteed you'll find more clues at John Dar's Rest. Now, since you have what you need, I'm going to turn my attention to other matters. I've enjoyed our time together, but as they say, fish and guests are quick to stink. Let's avoid that from happening to us.
How quickly can you get that done?
Harbinger. The contact has already returned to Dazra, and your handler, Kisrani, will die by their hand. We have dispatched our people to Dazra. The contact has agreed to smuggle them in and kill the one named Kisrani Tulkaf. Your journey, however, ends here. Because they are weak and unworthy. For years they cowered in their holes, leaving us to fight the war that Jinan began. They are one who has Jinan's ideals in mind. To make House Varun the might of the settled systems. Only by uniting with House Malin is this possible. You are formidable, but you are not immortal. And now, with this serpent as our witness, you will perish here. Heathen, prepare for judgment!
Must. Leave the rest for discussion.
I'm repositioning! My yonder blade! I will end
Child of Jarek. Formerly, I would not entertain such cowardice. But the speed of your arrival is suspicious. How did you find this place so swiftly? I wonder if the contact has betrayed us and fled to safety. Killing us would remove his only witnesses. So you're saying the supplier did not betray us? I am beginning to think you are right. Interesting. I suspected the same. Very well. If we have been betrayed, then there is no bargain left to uphold. The name of our contact is from House Kadik. This slate will give you all the evidence you need. Goodbye, child of Jarek. Pray we do not meet again on more even ground. You have the evidence you require. Leave, lest the fangs of the void take you. You are free to go, but when next we meet, blood will be shed. You have the evidence you require.
If you wish to speak to Brother...
One never knows what one will find in a cave. The most inauspicious entrances can lead to the grandest of caverns.
You're back. Did you uncover anything at Jandar's Rest? I had an inkling I was being followed, so I asked for a security detail to protect me. Mujin, does this mean he's the supply thief? Are you sure? Then I may be walking into an ambush, seeing as Mujin's the one who organized this meeting and supplied my security detail. The meeting takes place inside the Halls of Obedience. Will you watch my back? I don't know if we have enough evidence. If we're the aggressors here, it may be harder to prove. Let's wait for them to make the first move. It is, but I have faith in your abilities. Okay, let's walk.
For the sake of our people, always.
Then may the great serpent watch you. Come to die, have you?
Now we are having fun!
I am sorry, Harbinger. I don't think I'll make it. Talk to Tevina. Bring the people responsible to justice.
Take what you must. Leave the rest for the scavengers.
Had us so worried, Varric.
The great serpent
Time to
spared
go
us.
soul searching.
Harbinger, how goes the investigation? Wait, is something wrong? You look a little pale.
Don't worry. I don't plan on making any unexpected pilgrimages.
What? But she was just in my office.
Better
She'd
not.
gotten a personal
sure
security
Eggie's liver
detail
could
to
handle
protect her.
Yeah. You may not want to check the balance on your tab
What?
anytime soon.
Why would you? It doesn't matter. You're not the one who's gonna take the fall for this.
Depend on what my father says when he sees them.
Unless you want to also admit to being the one who brought zealots into Dazra.
Too keen on funding your drinking habit, Eggie.
In the fog of war, such things occur. But it wasn't you who attacked her first, I take it. But there is a saving grace. If it was her own guard that attacked her, I know for a fact who the supply thief is. The person who hired them. Mujin Kadik. In due time. But first, a public humiliation. Give me until tomorrow to prepare. And then, meet me in my office. Mujin Kadik will answer for his crimes. And I will take pleasure in making the call.
Just trying to survive one more day.
Even if I have a little joy in my duties.
Give me a moment to work my magic.
Being with friends again
We'll
is worth
reconvene
it.
in a day.
You've been busy, Harbinger. Choose your words carefully. Convert or not, you're still an outsider, which is just a stone's throw away from trespasser. But before you proceed into that room, I must ask, do you have the proof you need? Is it solid? You seem to lack confidence in your choice. Perhaps that's what prompts this discussion now? So let us speak frankly for a moment, if we may. I've been thinking about the events of the past few days, and I have some thoughts. The speed at which things have unraveled, it makes me wonder how much of this outcome has been orchestrated. Of course, I am not denying my role in all this. Yes, I approved to have the supplies rerouted. And yes, I ordered that they be directed to the Zealots. But the murder of Kisrani Dulkef is not on my hands. I only sought to protect her, and the Zealots took things a step too far. Because we are all in need. Everyone was affected by the accident, including the people here. And if we are to reintegrate House Malene, we need to show them our aid isn't contingent on our abundance. How would it look if the moment our supplies had diminished, we kept them all for ourselves? Yes and no. I may have been pushed toward this outcome, but I do not regret my actions. And I see now. That person must be me. Fine. If this is how I serve, so be it.
With Barrett back, this house can finally begin to heal.
I spend most of my time working at the Ministry of State. Until we meet again.
Thank you both for coming. We are here to pass judgment for the crimes committed against the noble houses. Murder, theft, and most heinous of all, the aiding of zealots from House Malene, sworn enemies of House Varun. The perpetrator of all three being right in this room. Mujin of House Kadik. What say you to these charges?
What? This is outrageous. House Kadik denies all involvement in this conspiracy.
Oh, you're not going to worm your way out of this one, Envoy. Harbinger, the evidence, if you please. Don't be too long. I hate waiting. Thank you both for coming. We are here. Murder. The Mujin of House.
What?
Oh. Harbinger. Now, this is incredibly damning. A slate written by a zealot, identifying you by name. Is something wrong, Envoy? You don't seem to want to argue for your innocence.
Nor should I have to. A single slate, which I might add is likely fabricated, is not enough to prove anything.
Oh, you didn't know. We have piles of evidence, ship departure records, signatures, the works. And of course the kicker, Kisrani's killer. Your ward, Okim.
I had no part in that. In fact, I find this entire trial to be a farce, and I will not give it any more credence than it deserves.
Blah, 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 blah. I feel sorry for whoever you have to share a cell with. Guard, escort the envoy to his new lodgings.
Right away, Warden.
I don't regret my choices. Time will reveal them to be the right ones.
Do not agitate the locals. Many have already lost everything.
Well,
No further trouble.
now that the unpleasantness is behind us, I think we can wrap this case up. With punishments taken care of, the only thing left to dole out is your reward. Oh, I can't relate. I mean, I do things for a lot of reasons, but I always expect to get paid. On that note, let's not waste any time lingering. Here are your credits. House Vithal thanks you for your service.
Mujin, are you sure? Then I may be walking into an ambush, seeing as Mujin, the meeting takes... Thank you. Okay, let's walk.
For the sake of our people, always.
Then may the Great Serpent come to die, have you?
Jinan, bless you. I would not have survived that if you hadn't been here. I suppose humor is welcome at a time like this, and you are not wrong. In any case, now is not the time to dawdle. Our next move must be to arrest Mujin. He's a prominent member of another noble house. I'm slightly concerned about the optics of this. Some may say we are trying to shift the balance of power, and so to move forward, our evidence must be ironclad. No, it's safer in your hands. And when it comes time for the trial, I want you to deliver it. You're the only impartial person involved in this case. And besides, you did the legwork. You deserve the honor of submitting it. I am of House Dulkef. We are meticulous to a fault. Before we move in, I want to make sure we have opened every closet, looked into every crack. It is, but I have faith in your abilities. This assassin's attempt will help our case, but we still need evidence tying him to Mujin. If you have time, check his office. There may be information connecting him to this individual. Death will come in time. For what he has done, he deserves to rot away slowly. Regardless, he must answer for aiding the Zealots and the murder of my cousin. Give me until the coming dawn, and I will summon the relevant parties to my office. Mark my words. We will bring him to justice with all three noble houses as witness.
You've been busy, Harbinger. Of course. You've managed to piece together this case at a pace I did not anticipate. That is a credit to you as an investigator. But before you proceed into that room, I must ask. Maybe so. But once a suspect has been established, it can be like pulling a loose thread. The rest comes undone rather quickly. So let us speak frankly for a moment, if we may. Haste doesn't suit you. So before you go in there and report your findings, hear me out. The speed at which things have unraveled, it makes me wonder how much of this outcome has been orchestrated. Of course, I am not denying my role in all this. Yes, I approve to have this, but the murders, the violence, these were not directives I had ordered. If I am guilty of anything, it's being a rubber stamp. I won't apologize for my actions. Everything I did for Dazra. A handful of supply shipments are a meager exchange for an entire clan of allies. United with House Malin, we can rebuild Dazra as the industrial and military force it was during the Serpent's Crusade. Which is why I ask that you listen to my proposal. Let me go. Allow me to continue my efforts discreetly for the betterment of House Varun. A small price to pay for the future of Dazra.
You sell your honor cheaply. It is a disgrace.
Oh, and before we meet with Kisrani, take this slate. It should be enough to satisfy the Executor. Excellent. I trust you're a person of your word. We can present the evidence when you're ready. I will count on you to follow my lead.
Thank you all for coming. I think we can all agree that the charges for this crime are quite serious. Theft of supplies, aiding the Zealots, and the murder of my cousin. Which is why it comes with great shock that evidence points to a member of House Kadik as the thief.
I couldn't agree more, and my findings back that accusation up.
What? So you admit to the crime, Mujin?
Not exactly. I'm sorry, Executor, but you've been misled. The crimes in question were perpetrated by a lower member of House Kadik, Okim. The missing supplies, the deaths, he is responsible for it all, and I have ample evidence to back up this claim.
Hold on. Isn't he your ward? Something stinks here. Like 3-day-old goat milk bad.
Then why don't we ask the Harbinger? They're the only neutral party here, and I'm quite positive their investigation came to the same conclusion.
Is that correct? You came to me earlier claiming Mujin Kadik was a supply thief. Are you saying that you were mistaken?
Ha! This will be good for a laugh.
Examining this, it seems I owe you an apology, Mujin. Clearly, your ward was acting independently in violation of your trust.
What?
Apology accepted. While I was not involved, it gives me no pleasure to have the culprit come from my own house.
If Okim Kadik is our supply thief, then the case is closed. Based on recent revelations, I am certain he will no longer be a problem.
What do you mean? What revelations?
You mean you don't know? Okim's dead. He tried to assassinate the executor.
I wasn't aware.
I'm sorry you had to hear it this way. I know you two were close. For what it's worth, it does seem to fit your theory, however, that Okim was acting alone.
Thank you, Executor. But if Okim was indeed a traitor to House Varun, then he deserves no mourning.
This is also convenient for you, Mujin. You hardly seem fazed at all.
All told, I'm grateful. My cousin's murderer has been avenged, and the supply chain is once again secure. You've done Dazra a great service.
I've also handed over everything we have at House Vithal regarding the case. Who knows what other crimes we can uncover while poring over the evidence.
And of course, you'll have my full cooperation as well. Any records regarding my ward you need, I will provide.
And to be honest, I'm somewhat relieved. This could have been a political nightmare. But since the thief seems to be a lone operative, House Kadik is clear of any involvement, as are the noble houses. I'll take this up with the captain of the guard. After that, our part in all of this is done. Jinan grace you for taking on this investigation. You've done a great service for House Varun and for Dazra. And on a personal note, I want to extend my gratitude for avenging my cousin's murder. With the accident and all that's going on, I haven't really had time to grieve. But closing this case might help me start that process. So for that, I thank you.
I spend most of my time working at the Ministry of State.
Harbinger, remember, chosen. None but the faithful are promised tomorrow.
You disappoint me, convert. Why should I willingly confess and ensure my death? I'd much rather argue my case in front of my peers.
Argue all you want. This only ends one way.
I don't know what evidence you've gathered, but without anything concrete, it's your word against mine. We shall see which one carries more weight.
Thank you all for coming. I think we can... Theft of supply, which is...
Based on what?
I would not be... Harbinger? This slate lists you by name, Envoy. What do you have to say for yourself?
Is this what you called me to your office for, Kisrani? This is an absolute disgrace to your department.
You haven't answered my question, Mujin.
Nor should I have to. A single slate, which I might add is likely fabricated, is not enough to prove anything.
Oh, you didn't know. We have piles of evidence. And of course the kicker. Kisrani's would-be assassin.
Security has identified him as Okim Kadik.
Well, that's your ward, Mujin.
In fact, if I were you, Envoy, I would think long and hard about submitting to the Guard peacefully. Given the severity of your crimes, the Captain has the authority to do it by force.
I will cooperate, but this is by no means an admission. And make no mistake, the three of you will pay for this insult.
Make all the threats you want, Envoy. My decision is made. Guard, take him away.
As you command, Executor.
I don't regret my choices. Time will reveal them to be the right ones.
Now, that was satisfying.
I appreciate you backing me up on this one. Warden Vithal had brought some evidence linking Mujin to the crime, but it's your evidence that makes me feel confident we can convict. All told, I'm extremely grateful. Ukaru was family, and I would not have been able to rest if I knew the thief had not been brought to justice. It's a well-known secret that Mujin was not a popular member of House Kadik. I suspect he may have operated independently, and Elder Razma will likely deny any involvement. Of course, I'll do my best to reward you. And yes, I am aware you had no personal stake in solving this, but that makes me appreciate your efforts all the more.
I've also handed over everything we have at House Vithal regarding the case. Who knows what other crimes we can uncover while poring over the evidence.
I'll take this up with the Captain of the Guard. After that, our part in all of this is done. Jinan grace you for taking on this investigation. You've done a great service for House Varun and for Dazra. And on a personal note, I want, with the accident and was closing this. Is that so, Mujin? Or do you deny the words you yourself wrote?
I absolutely deny it. My computer has obviously been tampered with. This is clearly not enough evidence to even consider me a suspect.
Oh, you didn't know. We have piles of evidence. Ship depart.